So, I'm gonna share my English learning journey today with you guys, and I hope some of these things are going to help you out as well. Because within that journey, I'm going to share what are the specific things that I feel have made the biggest impact on my English speaking skills. So, little bit of a backstory there, right? So, when in school, I come from DAV. I don't know how many of you guys have been in that school. So I come from DAV 10th up until 10th class. I studied at DAV, and there used to be one rule in our school, which is you have to speak English, and you have to speak in English with everybody, especially teachers and your friends even. And if you were caught speaking in any other language than English, there was a fine associated to it. And the logic of our principal was pretty simple. English is going to be a global language, and if you guys can speak English and you're comfortable in English, it's going to help your careers. Of course, as kids, we didn't really pay much attention, and because we were not comfortable in English, Hindi or Punjabi zyada chalti thi. What we chose to do was not speak at all, and or maybe not speak in the presence of a teacher or the class monitor. However, I think that was a mistake, so should have done that. But let's say a little bit of an exposure started there, because the teachers were teaching in English medium school. So teachers they were teaching in English. A lot of other kids still, who were a little bit more comfortable in speaking English, they talk in English as well. So there was a little bit of exposure there, and I think that's one of the big ones. Because even though I wasn't an active English speaker when I was in school, I was an active listener, or maybe let's say even a passive listener. So I was getting exposed to the language anyways. And how do little kids learn, right? When the mother says mama daddy, how do you learn? That's how you learn, with association. And that's what was more or less happening in a passive sense. So one of the things again that has helped me, of course, is that I got to listen to a lot of English. However, wrong grammatically, pronunciation wise, it may be, it was still English, and it did help with that. Number two, that I feel number two thing is something that I feel has had the biggest impact on my English learning capabilities and my English speaking capabilities, to be very specific. It is that since my childhood, I've been a big fan of anime, and I've been a big fan of two very specific animes. One is Pokemon, and second is Dragon Ball Z. Both of these, because, and this is like in late 90s, these were not Hindi dubbed, right? And we had one of my friends used to have internet, so he used to download stuff for us and give and write CDs for us. And so he used to have like this Dragon Ball Z CD collection, and it was all in English. And if I remember correctly, I think there were subtitles. I'm not sure about that, but I've seen that Dragon Ball Z series of hundreds of episodes multiple times. And that exposure, I think that Dragon Ball Z exposure gets the biggest credit, because again, exposure to that language. I got to listen to that language quite a lot. And funnily enough, I watch anime in Japanese today with English subtitles, and that's why I'm able to understand a lot of basic conversation in Japanese these days, because I've exposed myself to this exact same thing. And I've done the exact same thing when I was learning Marathi as well. So I think that extreme exposure to watching English movies, English serials, anime in English has helped me a lot. Like our group of friends were big fans of watching English movies. So be it Spider-Man, be it whatever, man, we were big fans of that, and we watched a lot of English movies, a lot of English serials. So that really helped us concrete to build concrete connections in our mind that are going to help us understand the language a little bit better. And by the way, at this point as well, I wasn't confident in speaking English, so I wasn't speaking a lot, because still I was at school. So I wasn't speaking a lot, but I was listening to it a lot, like a lot, years, right? So I think that helps quite a bit. Now, fast forward to the college days, engineering days, little bit better. I started to get a little bit better in English speaking, a lot of like thesis writing and interacting with people. And even at this point, it was like more like listening more than actually speaking. And the actual speaking part came into play when in 2014 I went to Denmark to play table tennis. everybody else, of course, they couldn't speak any other language. They could speak English and they could speak Danish. And that's how, by the way, also because I got exposed to Danish for that 6 month period, I was able to understand conversations. I was able to understand dining table conversations, and I was able to interact with little kids because I was teaching table tennis to those elementary school kids in Denmark. So of course, with them, they don't know English, so I had talked to those kids in Danish, and there was no other option, right? So that's how I got like a grasp of like basic Danish. I've forgotten most of it now, but I can still understand like a thing or two. But that extreme exposure where I didn't have an option to speak in any other language than English really helped me. Now, one of the key problems that I faced initially was, uh, if and I did have an Indian accent, we all do, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. But for some people who were not exposed to the Indian accent or multiple accents, it was difficult for them to grasp what I was saying quickly, and that was a big time waste. And I started then working ways into making things easier for them to understand and take my accent away. So I started deliberately working on reducing that accent so people can understand me faster, so I can save a lot of time. A lot of people say, अरे यार उसको accent नहीं समझ में आ रहा ना तो भाड़ में जाए वो. I didn't have a choice. That's number one. Number two, if I can make things easier so I end up saving time, why not? We should definitely explore something like that, right? So I did that, and I think that really helped me understand how the language works, how the language English really works. That deliberate effort to work on my accent a little bit so people can understand me faster, that I think was a big kick in that case. And then 2014 that happened. I came back. I had like a Danish accent in my English because that's what I was trying to do. That was all. I was living for 6 months, came back, gave my thesis in like a weird accent, and my teacher was fine, but a couple of my friends were like, oh, Danish English, right? So I got that. And the year after, I went to Germany, similar thing there, but now because I had worked on the accent, I was more comfortable speaking. I had built connections with people who were non Hindi speakers. That's where I had now got some practice. So that Germany thing also was a little bit easier when it comes to now English speaking. And I think these two episodes really helped me. Now, how can you emulate these episodes just in case you don't get to go out of India that early? I was very fortunate, very lucky to do that because there was an internship and I got to play in the Danish league. So both of those lined up and I was able to do that. But one of the ways that you can do is by using apps such as Cambly, right? Apps that allow you to speak with others. And I think that's a genius way to learn. That's the best way to learn a language. So no matter what language you are learning, I do feel that speaking and exposing yourself to that language is the most important thing. So if you're able to pull that off on an app like Cambly, etc., you can replicate those results 100%. And that's where most of my confidence came into play. And when I was in Germany, that's when I started making YouTube videos. Initially they were like science and physics videos. I didn't even have my face on. They were like whiteboard style videos with an Intuos tablet and a microphone. And of course, because they were in English, I was getting into it. But then the year after, this is now 2016 is when I went to US for my masters, and that's when I think the most of the exposure thing happened. And that's also when I was starting to work on YouTube on my, like, with my face there in the camera. So two things helped me: that US, 1 year of living in US, and then interacting with a lot of people, taking up consulting projects with people from different countries. There were in fact people from like multiple countries, not like 10, 20, 30, 40 countries in my class. So I got to hear different ways of how people speak English in different parts of the world. So I think that was extremely beneficial. But more than that, also I had started to make YouTube videos, and that's where the whole thing I think came into play. If you look at my videos from 2017, I had this weird American accent. That's what I was trying to do when so that's one of the games that I play and I try to do. You don't need to do it. I like to try and copy accents, Australian accent, UK accent, British accent, to be very specific, right? So I love trying out those things, and I think that works. If I'm in a fun mood, you'll find me experimenting with accents. But within that, I was starting to make YouTube videos with my face on. So one big thing that really helped me, because I was already mostly confident speaking in English, but creating videos in English meant that I had to be concise, I had to be very direct with what I wanted to say, but I have to be general, right? I can't use weird vocabulary or difficult words because I don't know who's watching on the other end. So I have to be pretty straightforward in my approach, pretty simple in my approach of making those videos. So since then I've made thousands of videos, but I think the first 100 videos is when I was pseudo confident, and you can see in those videos. But as things started to progress after that, I guess like maybe a 90th or a 100th video mark, that's when I started to get really really confident speaking in front of a camera. So for example, this very video that I'm shooting right now, I don't have a script. I can talk about all of this because one, these are my actual real experiences. Second is I can think in English when I'm talking to you guys, so I don't need to translate. So there are like less gaps in the middle. There are some spaces I'll probably not edit this video, just so you guys can understand how it actually looks like or how it feels like when you are having an actual conversation, as opposed to me putting cuts throughout the video and you getting like a filtered version of that. But this is how you usually end up talking, right? And I think this is a big one. So how do you emulate that? This is one of the things that I had mentioned in one of my previous videos. In fact, I just want to very quickly check what the title of that video. I think it's either it's the English fluency study plan, or it's the 21-minute daily English study routine. No, actually, yes. Two videos you might want to watch: English fluency study plan, the second video on this channel, and the first video on this channel. I understand English but can't speak with confidence. So you might want to explore these two videos. And in the first video, I have mentioned that you should record yourself talking in English. Talking English to yourself rather. So you open up your webcam, your camera, your phone, record yourself, watch it, and delete the video. You don't need to publish them on YouTube. If you are able to find the confidence to publish this on YouTube and do it consistently, your life can potentially change. I can guarantee you that. But if you're not confident enough, no harm done, no problems. Just record yourself talking in English, and that's all you need. Maybe take up a topic or two, ask ChatGPT to give you a topic to talk about, and maybe even bullet points to talk about. Don't have a script, right? Don't get a script for this. Just get bullet points and think through things and talk about those things in front of a camera. And then once you are done, just go through that video. Can be like 2 minutes long, that's fine. Not more than 2 minutes is really what all you need is, like 2 minutes. And do that for 30 days. Take up a 30-day challenge before 2024 comes. I think that can definitely change your life. That's how you can take what I've done with this recording part of things, recording thousands of videos. Think to build confidence in actually having conversations with others to this point. And I kid you not, a lot of my opportunities that I've gotten, like work opportunities, consulting opportunities, are because I am a better communicator than I used to be. So I'm a relatively good communicator in terms of that I can speak confidently in Hindi, English, Marathi, Punjabi, very very confidently. And I think that helps me quite a lot. It also makes people overlook a few technical issues that I might have in my knowledge. And I've seen it, and in fact multiple founders have mentioned it as well. Oh, you don't have B2B marketing experience, but I do want to take a chance on you because I think you have the confidence, you can pull it off. Where is the confidence? I don't have confidence, but when I talk, I think I'm able to project that confidence. But I am telling you, I know I don't have confidence on my B2B marketing skills, and that's what I've communicated with the founder as well, that they are mistaken, but they feel that I'm just being I don't know, I'm just being nice about it. So I think that communication aspect really really helps. So if you are really into learning English, you should listen to a lot of English. And a couple of comments that I've gotten on the channel as well, that I want to learn English, why are you making videos in English? You should make videos in Hindi and tell me how to learn English by making videos in Hindi. But the problem is, if you don't listen to English as much as possible, you're not going to get the language. And that's why I'm making these videos in English, by the way, right? So I hope this whole summary of how I've how or what things I've leveraged over the past many years to become the communicator that I am, I hope these things help you out to maybe figure out your own path. There's no copy paste. in this, it's real life. So but I'm sure this will help you figure out your own path, and I'd be very very happy if it does. Do let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, etc. in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing as well. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming on this channel for you guys. See you guys next time. Till then, bye and take care.